is screen visible? Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Okay, screen is visible, right?
Yes, sir, you are audible.
Screen is full
Yes,
screen
sir.
visible.
Yes,
Can
sir, it is visible.
okay. Okay, so today's topic is ketosis, right? So what is ketosis? So we are going to discuss what is ketosis in this topic. Okay, etiology. So ketosis is a multifactorial disorder of energy metabolism. So when we say animal has developed ketosis, it is basically a multifactorial disease. There can be different causes for development of the ketosis. And why ketosis develop? In this ketosis, we have negative energy balance. Someone joining? So ketosis, today's topic is ketosis, and this one is etiology. Under etiology, it is a multifactorial disorder of energy metabolism. So there can be a multiple factors for development of the ketosis. The negative energy balance result in the hypoglycemia and ketonemia. So we all know that as a living beings, the humans as well as animals require the energy for continuation of the body activities, right? But whenever there is a negative energy balance, so what is this negative energy balance? So this negative energy balance means the certain amount of energy is required in the body and it is not present. We call it as a negative energy balance. So whenever negative energy balance is there, there can result in the hypoglycemia, means the glucose level in the blood will decrease. Then ketonemia, the ketone bodies in the blood will accumulate. So what is ketonemia? Ketonemia is the accumulation of acetoacetate, beta hydroxybutyrate, and their decarboxylation product like acetone and isopropanol. So when we say ketone body, so ketosis, in this one we are dealing with the ketone bodies. In this disease, this glucose is lower in our body, so that there is accumulation of this acetoacetate, beta hydroxybutyrate, and their decarboxylation product. So decarboxylation product of acetoacetate and beta hydroxybutyrate are acetone and isopropanol. When they accumulate in the body, it is referred to as a ketonemia. So ketone body accumulate in the blood. So this ketosis is mainly occur in the dairy animals. So this one is a Indian breed of the animal cow, and if it is very high producing, you can see the udder. It may be very high producing, so it may develop the ketosis if it undergoes the negative energy balance. If the required body requirement of energy has not been met, then this animal develop the ketosis. Likewise, this recently parturited cow, it may develop the ketosis because the energy, lactational energy, milk energy requirement is higher. So this animal can develop the ketosis. Likewise, same animal, these animals, the high production animals, they develop the ketosis. They can develop the ketosis. So don't ignore the hidden side of ketosis, in which the hidden ketosis can be cystic ovary, metritis, clinical ketosis, displacement of abomasum, retained placenta. So what happens? The ketosis sometimes the feeding energy requirement is not met. In other time, there is a secondary ketosis in which this cystic ovary, metritis, or abomasum displacement, they causes animal not to eat properly. If animal is not eating properly, in that case, the animal may develop the secondary ketosis, and this may increase the culling of the animal. So yeah, in our country, the culling is banned, but in the other countries, the farmer may resort to the culling of the animal. Okay, so animals reproductive fertility can also get reduced, and there is a less milk yield. So whenever we consider about the farmers, there is a threefold risk: the less milk, reduced fertility, and increased culling, and this results in the economic losses for the farmer. So this animal may get depressed. It comes backward. So ketosis. So how the ketogenesis occur? So under the biochemistry we have already studied. We have this two acetyl coenzyme A. So this one is a one acetyl coenzyme A. Second acetyl coenzyme A. They combine with the help of the thiolase enzyme. And with the help of thiolase enzyme, this CoA SH is being removed, and we get acetoacetyl CoA. So these two first and second molecule, these get joined, and we get acetoacetyl CoA here with the thiolase enzyme. After this HMG-CoA synthetase enzymes come into play, in which the acetoacetyl-CoA combines with the acetyl-CoA. So this acetoacetyl-CoA combines with this acetyl-CoA, and we get this beta-hydroxy beta-methyl glutaryl-CoA, HMG-CoA. So name itself, HMG-CoA synthase, name itself suggests that it is a HMG, means beta-hydroxy beta-methyl glutaryl coenzyme A. So this HMG-CoA gets synthesized, and afterwards HMG-CoA lyase, the reaction of HMG-CoA lyase enzyme leads to the release of acetyl coenzyme A. So this acetyl coenzyme A is released, and now we have acetoacetate present here. So this acetoacetate is one of the ketone bodies. Okay. So next, this acetoacetate undergoes the non-enzymatic decarboxylation. So already we have seen this acetoacetate undergoes decarboxylation, and we get acetone. So this one is a one more ketone body. Acetone is a ketone body. Acetoacetate is ketone body. Next, this acetoacetate may undergo this beta hydroxybutyrate dehydrogenase reaction, and we get beta hydroxybutyrate. So this beta hydroxybutyrate is the ketone body. So what happens in that one? This NADH plus H plus combine, and we get NAD plus. In this one, beta hydroxybutyrate is being generated. So whenever we say ketone bodies, so which are the ketone bodies? So we can see here this acetoacetate is ketone body, acetone is a ketone body, and this beta hydroxybutyrate is a ketone bodies. So these three ketone bodies, we are whenever we are saying ketogenesis, ketosis, ketonemia, so these ketone bodies we are referring to. So likewise, what happens in the inside our body? So there is a free fatty acid. It undergoes conversion to acyl coenzyme A. Under the beta oxidation, it undergoes conversion to the acetyl coenzyme A. Then it gets converted into HMG CoA. Just now we have seen. Then it gets converted into acetoacetate. This also we have seen acetoacetate conversion, and then it undergoes the conversion to the 3-hydroxybutyrate conversion. So this is a ketone body. This is a ketone body. This 3-hydroxybutyrate can travel from the liver to the extrahepatic tissues, that is a muscle, and this 3-hydroxybutyrate get converted into the acetoacetate. So with the help of this NAD plus, we get NADH plus H plus, and this acetoacetate with the help of CoA transferase enzyme and the succinyl coenzyme A getting converted into succinate, we get acetoacetate to acetoacetyl CoA. And with the thiolase enzyme, again we are getting acetyl coenzyme A. And if you want to use it for energy purpose, it can enter into the TCA cycle here. So this is a tricarboxylic acid in which the oxaloacetate, this acetyl coenzyme may combine with this oxaloacetate, and we are getting citrate here. This citrate is going to get converted into the succinyl CoA, and via this two carbon dioxide can be released. So this is a conversion of the acetyl, how the free fatty acid can get converted into the these ketone bodies. And why ketone fatty acid is getting converted into ketone bodies? Because ketone bodies can generate energy inside the body. You can see these ketone bodies, 3-hydroxybutyrate is traveling to the hepatic tissue, and in the hepatic tissue it is going to the get converted into this final acetyl coenzyme A, and it can enter the TCA cycle. And as you all know, this TCA cycle generates a lot of energy. So by this way, even though there is a less glucose pressure present, this ketone bodies can help in the production of the releasing energy inside the body. So here is a triglyceride adipose tissue. The cow has a lot of adipose tissue. Now it is entering into the blood. Non-esterified fatty acid it is getting converted into. So here this non-esterified fatty acid can comes out in the milk, Here ketone energy it can ketone and ketones it can get converted into this non-steroidal fatty acid, and this very low density lipoprotein can be formed from NEFA, then triglyceride, and some are stored as a fats. Okay, so these are the some of the lipid activity, lipid related biochemical activity going in the cow. So whenever we say there is a requirement of the energy in the body, so what happens? How energy is being generated? We have already seen glycolysis. So this left side you can see there is a glycolysis pathway. So this is a glycolysis pathway. Already we have seen how this glucose get converted into glucose 6 phosphate, fructose 6 phosphate, likewise up to the pyruvate, and during this process somewhere the ATP is being generated, and ATP is a source of energy for activity in the cow as well as humans, right? So this pyruvate is generated, but now the animal is under the stress. It doesn't have proper glucose. The animal has not been fed properly as per the requirement, and it has undergone the negative energy balance, NEB we call it. So what we can do? So there is an option. There are some compounds like this pyruvate can undergo the pyruvate carboxylase reaction, and it will give the oxaloacetate. Oxaloacetate undergoes the phosphoenol pyruvate carboxykinase reaction, and it will give the phosphoenol pyruvate. Then this reaction go upwards, the phosphoenol pyruvate to 2-phosphoglycerate, 3-phosphoglycerate, 1,2-bis phosphoglycerate, glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate, trihydroxyacetone phosphate, then glucose 6-phosphate, fructose 1,6-bis phosphate, fructose 6-phosphate, glucose 6-phosphate, and likewise we are getting glucose. So normally we come like this downward for energy purpose, but when energy is very low, we need glucose for specific activity in body. So reaction can go backward like this. So it is not exactly backward, and this reaction we call as a gluconeogenesis. Gluconeogenesis means here we are generating the glucose in our body. So epidemiology, if you see the ketosis, so how ketosis develops. So this unit 3 is basically a clinical syllabus. So we are trying to cover the clinical aspect of the ketosis, right? So primary ketosis occur predominantly in well-conditioned animal with a high lactation potential. So there is a cow, and this is a crossbred cow, for example. It is giving a lot of milk. It has a potential to give a lot of milk. The lactation potential is very high. What happens in that condition? There is a chances that that cow may develop the primary ketosis. So this primary ketosis may develop in this cow, occurs principally in the first month of the lactation with a higher prevalence in the cow with a higher lactation number. So whenever cow is giving the milk, that is we call it a cow is under lactation. Under the first in the first month, what happen? There is a very high chance that primary ketosis will develop, and this chances is again can be increased if very high milk giving cow it is having the higher lactation number. So first calving, second calving, third calving, fourth calving. So at the fourth calving, the chances of cow developing the ketosis is quite higher than at the first calving lactation, right? So there is a loss of body condition in the dry period immediately postpartum. So what happened is that during the dry period condition, maybe the cow's health is not proper, the loss of body condition is there, and there may be a cause for the primary ketosis. So ketosis may develop in that case. Secondary ketosis occur when disease reduces the feed intake. So there is a this is a very common question by the farmer that okay, my cow is not feeding properly. So what is the cause? The cause can be a multiple cause, but one of the cause can be a secondary ketosis. Means some disease is there, cow has some limb injury, some metritis is there, or mastitis is there, or some radiculitis is there. So these are the diseases which cow may have, and because of these diseases, cow is not eating properly. If she is not eating properly, what is happening? Cow is requiring the energy for body to produce milk, but she is not getting that much energy. So in that case, secondary ketosis develop. So because of other diseases, this secondary ketosis may develop. Okay, so clinical findings. So what you can expect in that cow when cow is not eating properly? So cattle show the wasting with the decrease in appetite. So cow is not eating properly. She is not having the willingness to eat So that is a decrease in appetite. Fall in the body condition and milk production. So the body condition of cow falls. Okay, so cow becomes very lean and thin. So that is we also call it as a wasting cow. So the fall in body condition and the milk production also decrease. The required milk is not being produced. Some have short period of bizarre neurological and behavioral abnormalities. So sometimes cow will show behavioral and neurological. So as a human being, also we can see the so when student comes to classes. Since morning till afternoon they are doing the classes, and if they are not, they have not taken breakfast at the 1 o'clock, we can see the suddenly some 4 5 students they start to show some activity because there may be the hypoglycemia, and sometimes this it may trigger some neurological or behavioral symptoms in human beings also, right? Or sometimes you know that you have not eaten properly for 1 or 2 days, then you will become very depressed, and you will not have energy to do any work, and neural means behavioral signs will also be altered. So likewise, these symptoms can be similar in the cows also. So response to treatment is good. So the this cause of ketosis is very simple. You have not fed cow properly. So if you are feeding cow properly, or you are giving some treatment, glucose treatment, so in that one, response to treatment is good. Subclinical ketosis is detected by the test for ketones, usually milk or urine. So if you want to detect the subclinical ketosis, you have to do some biochemical test. So which test you can do? You can do plasma test, milk test, or urine test. So generally, the milk or urine test is preferred. Clinical pathogenesis. So what can occur in the ketosis? Hypoglycemia. So this is a decrease in the glucose. Then there can be ketonemia. So ketone bodies is increase in the blood. Glucose decrease, ketone bodies increase. Ketonuria. Ketone bodies is so much increased that now it is coming in the urine. So in the urine also you can detect the ketone bodies, that is a ketonuria, and then elevated ketones in the urine. So the blood glucose ketone bodies concentration has increased. Now it is coming in the milk also. So that is elevated ketones in the milk. Diagnostic confirmation, if you want to do ketonemia, ketonuria, and elevated ketones in the milk, you can test. Okay. So treatment in the cow, parental glucose with a corticosteroid. So if you want to do the treatment, so you have to give the parenteral glucose, glucocorticoids, and the oral glucose. So basically, what this glucocorticoid do, this enhance the gluconeogenesis activity in the animal body, and it leads to increased glucose concentration by some metabolic pathways, right? And in addition, if you are doing the oral glucose precursors such as a propylene glycol, and corticosteroid, then this can be served as a treatment. Okay. In cows, the disease response readily to treatment and is a self-limiting. Okay, the if you are giving that treatment like glucose, you are giving corticosteroid treatment, you are giving, or the propylene glycol you are giving, the usually cow responds to this treatment. Control the correction of energy imbalance. So the correct control of, if you want to if you don't want your cow to have the ketosis, what you have to do? You have to correct the energy imbalance. So herd biochemical test monitoring coupled with the conditional storing. So you have to see the animal is fed properly. The herd biochemical monitoring is being done properly. Biochemical monitoring means you are testing ketone bodies in the urine, in the blood, or in the plasma, and you are monitoring the body conditions of the animal. In that case, the chances is good that your animal will not develop the ketosis. Okay. So glucose metabolism in ruminant. So how does so we are going little bit in detail. So how this glucose metabolism occurs in the ruminant. Okay. So we are saying now, all the point of this lecture is that we saying that now glucose is less for animal available for less for a high production animal. So high production animal glucose demand is not met, and now that animal is developing the ketosis. So the ruminant absorb very little dietary carbohydrate as a hexose sugar. So if you see, if you are feeding the hexose sugar to the ruminant directly, it is absorbing very little. Why? Because this dietary carbohydrate like the hexose sugar, like our glucose or fructose, these are being fermented in the rumen. So you know the inside rumen there is a microflora and microfauna which are fermenting this carbohydrate, and this lead to the short chain fatty acids. Short chain fatty acids. So which are these short chain fatty acids? So once this carbohydrate is fermented, so dietary carbohydrate is fermented, it is getting principally converted into the acetate. So this acetate is around 70%. Then propionate, which is at 20%, and this butyrate, which is at 10%. Consequently, glucose needs in the ruminant must be made by gluconeogenesis. So, if you want animal to have glucose, so animal has to undergo the gluconeogenesis to produce the glucose. So, what are the sources? The propionate and amino acids are the major precursor of the gluconeogenesis, with glycerol and lactate are the less important. So, when we say, okay, we are feeding the carbohydrate to animal and now it is getting all converted into the short chain fatty acid like acetate, propionate and butyrate. So, how to get glucose? We have, in that case, we have to get resort animal to the gluconeogenesis. So, gluconeogenesis means there is some precursor source from which glucose has to be generated. So, which are the main sources in the animal? Propionate and amino acid are the main sources of the glucose, main precursor for the gluconeogenesis from which the glucose can be synthesized. There are some other minor sources like glycerol and lactate, but these are of the lesser importance. So when we say ketosis, so this ketosis disease is there. So it can be classified into the primary ketosis, secondary ketosis, elementary ketosis, ketosis due to the nutritional deficiency. So when we say primary ketosis, it is a production ketosis. Okay. So this is a production ketosis. Production ketosis means you have not fed animal properly according to its body requirement, and now that is ketosis as well. That is a primary ketosis. Secondary ketosis is a decrease in the fluid intake in a traumatic reticulitis, metritis, and the mastitis. So there is a some injury to this reticulum, some uterus infection is there, inflammation is there, or some inflammation of the teats of animal is there. In that case, what happen? Because of the injury and inflammation, animal tends not to eat properly. If animal is not eating properly, even if you have given the feed to animal, what happens that animal develops the secondary ketosis. Means here we are supplying energy properly, the feed you are supplying properly, but you are not addressing the underlying problems, secondary problems like traumatic reticulitis, metritis, and the mastitis. In that case, also animal may develop the ketosis. There can be the elementary ketosis. So this elementary ketosis means if you are filling the this excess butyrate in the silage. Okay, so if you are feeding the succulent silage, so succulent silage is usually very high content in the butyrate. If you are feeding such kind of the silage continuously, in that case the butyrate it causes the ketone bodies formation. So this is a elementary ketosis. Other cause is the nutritional deficiency. So if you have cobalt and phosphorus deficiency, in that case also this ketosis develop, because we know that in the under the biochemical different biochemistry mechanism, this cobalt phosphorus they have role, and if these pathways are hampered, then the animal's energy need is not being made properly. So this can be a nutritional deficiency, can be a cause of the ketosis. So, okay, so this one figure is there. So, this is our animal. Now, feed intake does not meet the energy demand. So, this animal requires certain amount of feed, but its energy demand is not met. So, what happened? There is insufficient ruminal production of propionic acid, a precursor of the glucose. So, animal is not being fed properly. In that case, the propionic acid is being produced less. Okay, propionic acid is being produced less. So, what we have seen, what we discuss about propionic acid, we discussed that propionic acid makes the glucose via gluconeogenesis. Okay, so propionic acid is less. Now what? Not enough glucose, so that become hypoglycemic. So less propionic acid means less glucose, so that is a low blood sugar. So animal has become now hypoglycemic. Now animal has become hypoglycemic. The low blood sugar makes her metabolize. So what animal should do? It needs to meet its energy demand. In that case, this fatty acid and glycerol is being metabolized. So now animal is metabolizing its fat. So animal is very fatty, and now this fats is being getting converted into the these ketone bodies. Okay, so ketone bodies, fatty acid being metabolized. Fatty acid and glycerol. So what happens to the fatty acid and glycerol? So what biochemical pathway we know that fatty acid undergoes for energy production? Beta oxidation of the fatty acid. So under beta oxidation of the fatty acid, this fatty acid and glycerol, they get oxidized to the acetyl coenzyme A. So there is a production of acetyl coenzyme A. Excess of acetyl coenzyme A due to lack of energy, so is converted into the ketone bodies. So already what we have seen, production, initially we have seen the production of the ketone bodies. How ketone bodies produce? Two acetyl coenzyme A comes together, and with the thiolase enzyme they form the acetoacetyl coenzyme A. And this again with the HMG coenzyme, it is getting converted into this ketone bodies. So excess of the acetyl coenzyme A due to lack of energy is getting converted into the ketone bodies. So now we have ketone bodies: acetoacetate, butahydroxybutyrate. So these ketone bodies means we have ketosis. Ketone bodies accumulate, now accumulating in the milk, in the urine. So basically there is a lack of energy, liver cannot cope. So continuously this lack of energy is there, and continuously this fatty acid is coming to liver for this beta oxidation of fatty acid, and when fatty acid is being produced, the liver cannot cope. The liver may undergo some degenerative changes. So we can see under, maybe it comes later, that liver will undergo the degeneration of the liver. So that is our liver can have a weak, animal can have a fatty liver. A lot of fat size being accumulating in the liver, hampering the liver function. This again contributes as an accumulating factor to the degrading body condition of the animal. Okay, so this is basically a condition. So insufficient fluid intake causes the ketosis. So animal is not eating properly, and it is causing ketosis. So feed is not proper, propionic acid is less. Propionic acid is less, glucose is less. Glucose is less, fatty acid is being metabolized. Fatty acid is being metabolized, acetyl coenzyme is being produced. Acetyl coenzyme is being produced, ketone bodies, acetoacetate, beta hydroxybutyrate is being produced. Now they are accumulating in the milk, in urine, and now you can detect this sweet smell of the breath of animal or the urine, as a detection test for the ketosis, right? So dietary acetate is transported. Dietary acetate, we saw that there is acetate formation. So this dietary acetate is transported to the peripheral tissue and to the mammary gland, and metabolized to long chain fatty acid for storage as a lipid or secretion as a milk fat. So when we say milk fat, from where it comes? So we have dietary fat, dietary acetate, and this dietary acetate is being transported to peripheral tissue and the mammary gland, where it is metabolizing to the long chain fatty acid. So this lot of acetate is being joined together, and now we have got long chain fatty acid. And now this long chain fatty acid is acting as a storage for the lipid or the secretion as a milk fat. Because of negative energy balance, cows metabolize adipose tissue fat with consequent increase in the serum concentration of the non-stratified fatty acid. So now our cow, what happened is that the cow is producing a lot of milk, and the energy balance which is required for the cow is not being made. So what happened in that condition is that the negative energy balance causes the this fat to mobilize the adipose tissue to mobilize the fat. So when fat is being mobilized inside the serum, you can see the concentration, increased concentration of non-stratified fatty acid. NEFA, non-stratified fatty acid is increased. Now this non-stratified fatty acid enters into the hepatic mitochondria and result in the high rate of the ketogenesis and high blood ketones. Now the ketogenesis has increased. This non-stratified fatty acid goes to the hepatic mitochondria, and then there is an increased ketogenesis and high blood ketone levels. So both ketogenesis and the ketone level has increased because of this non-stratified fatty acid. In addition, we can see there is a low insulin to glucagon ratio that stimulates the lipolysis in the adipose tissue. Under the ketosis, if ketosis is there, insulin is lower in concentration, and this glucagon is comparatively higher. So insulin to glucagon ratio is lower. This stimulate the lipolysis. So lipolysis is means the fats is being mobilized, and now it is converting this fats to the acetate. It's individual this fatty acid acetate, and this acetyl coenzyme is getting converted into the acetoacetate and beta hydroxybutyrate. That is a fats. Then there is a higher somatotropin concentration. So this somatotropin enzyme concentration can be higher. Then lactational incident rate can be a 0.2 to the 10%. So whenever cow is under lactation, 0.2 to 10% of the animal may have the ketosis incident. When animal is undernourished, then subclinical ketosis can be as high as 40%. If you are not feeding your animal properly, the farmer is not feeding their animal properly, then in that case the chances of subclinical ketosis is a 40%. So you can imagine it is a quite a high number. Ketosis mainly occur in the animal housed or free stall. So if you are keeping animal housed or in confined places rather than in the calving on the pasture, in that case the ketosis rate is a higher. The disease occur immediately postpartum. So when can you expect ketosis? So animal recently has called that is a postpartum period. 90% of the cases occur in the first 60 days of the lactation. Means within the 2 month lactation has started, within 2 months you may expect that animal may have the ketosis. You may test for ketosis, and you may take care of the ketosis or use a preventive measure, some preventive measure like feeding properly, likewise, right? Low prevalence at the first calving. So at the first calving, the prevalence is low, and but it peaks at the fourth calving. Okay. Then heritability predisposition within the breed is minimum. So we can see the heritability. So the breed to breed variation is low, but it depends on the production. How much is the production of the animal? That is a main contributing factor than the heritability. The cows with the twins are also at the risk for ketosis in the terminal stage of the pregnancy. So what happens is that sometimes the cow is having the twins, and in that case the twins means the energy requirement is more. First fetus is also taking nutrient, second fetus is also taking nutrients. There is a competition. So when is there is a mother child nutrition is there is always a competition. Like in cow, but instead of one calf, there is now two calves. So two fetuses is there. So the competition is more, and this intense competition, this fetus they want to extract more nutrients from the cow's body, and in that case, cow may develop the ketosis at the terminal pregnancy. So, what is economical significance? The rare instance of disease is irreversible and the animal dies, but the main loss is due to the production while disease is there. So basically, if you see the economical factor, the rarely animal dies because of the disease. So this is not a very like high mortality disease, but there is a production loss. Okay, so the animal, there is a reason why farmer keeps animal, right? So he wants something from the animal, so he wants good milk production, and for that purpose he is keeping the animal. So if that the peak milk yielding period, like first 2 months after the lactation, in which he expect to get the higher milk production, if he is not getting that milk production at that time, there is a severe economic loss for the farmer. Both clinical and subclinical ketosis is accompanied by. So what happens in clinical and subclinical ketosis? So what how farmer will get economic losses? There is a decreased milk yield. So milk yield is decreased, lower milk protein and milk lactose. The milk protein and milk lactose will decrease. Increased risk of delayed estrus. So the estrus will be delayed. So subsequent pregnancies will be delayed. Okay, so that is also one of the loss for farmer. Lowest first service conception rate. So first service conception rate will be lowest. Increase intercalving interval. Intercalving interval is being increased. The increased cystic ovarian disease, metritis, mastitis. Okay, so animal may develop some ovarian disease like cystic ovary, or some uterine disease, metritis, or some teats infection like mastitis. And then there is a involuntary culling. So what happened in other countries that if animal is not producing properly, not giving milk properly at the required amount, they may resort to killing, right? So this is regarding other country, not ours, but that is also one of the loss for the farmer. We don't want to cull the animal, but he is culling it. Clinical findings. So what you can expect in the ketosis. So what clinical significance? So what you can expect about the animal? So wasting form. Cow first refuses to eat grains and then in silage, but may continue to eat hay. Okay, so the animal is under the ketosis, so she is not eating. You are giving her grains, she is not eating it. You are getting a silage, she is not eating it. But sometimes she is eating the hay. So that is one of the clinical finding. Woody cow appearance. So the animal is so woody that there is a loss of cutaneous elasticity. So why this skin is elastic? Because there is a subcutaneous fat. And now animal is under ketosis. This subcutaneous fat is being used for the gluconeogenesis to produce the glucose. Now this fat has disappeared. So because of that, that animal has become very lean and thin. So that is a woody cow appearance. Okay, so the animal is appearing woody. The feces are the firm and dry, but no serious constipation. So feces can be firm and dry, but not serious constipation can be seen. Cow is moderately depressed. You can see this is a ketotic cow. So this is a wasting form of the ketosis. You can see here the ribs of the cow, right? So you can see ribs means fat has disappeared from this ribs. So this cow is producing a lot of milk. And it has developed ketosis. So all body fat she is using for this production of the milk and to meet her energy demand, right? So the cow has become depressed. Now you can see calf here, and this cow appearance is quite depressed, right? So this body condition of the cow become lower. It gets degraded. You can say this is a woody cow. So woody cow means you can see all bare bones of the cow. That is a woody cow. So cow has wasted, we say. Okay, so clinical finding, the ruminal movement may be decreased in amplitude and the number. So ruminal movement is being decreased in the amplitude and the number. Characteristic ketones or odor of the ketones can be detected in the bread and the milk. You can see the odor of the ketones in the bread and the milk. Without treatment, milk yield is falling. Okay, so milk yield is falling. Although spontaneous recovery occur about a month, so generally we expect to have spontaneous recovery, but if you are waiting for a month long, the farmer will be having a lot of production losses as a economic losses, right? Spontaneous recovery, this is one of the factor. As equilibrium between the brain of the lactation and food intake is established, milk yield is never fully regained. Okay, so animal is giving a lot of milk and now she is eating less. So what is happening? Gradually, animal is trying to adapt to that situation. So it is giving a lot of milk, eating less. Now it is giving lesser milk, eating the particular quantity. Now more less lactation, right? So slowly this lactation decreases because body food intake is not being made properly. And then if even after that one, if you are trying to feed properly, this milk yield may never be fully regained. So what nervous sign animal can have exhibit? So we know that animal as an animal or as a human being, the most of the energy requirement is being required by the brain. Okay, so if the animal is not properly fed, the sign can be observed in the at the nervous system level, right? So what can be the sign? The transient bout of staggering and partial blindness. So animal can show a transient sign of staggering. It may stagger, and sometimes the partial blindness can be there. Even the humans which are not fed properly, so sometimes they will say, I'm feeling somewhat blindness because I am not eating properly, I am feeling some dizziness. So these are the nervous sign because the human has not fed properly, right? So this is about the animal, the transient bouts of staggering and the partial blindness. Aimless movement. So animal is making aimless movement and wandering here and there without any purpose. The walking in circle, animal is walking in circle like this, and deprived appetite. Animal appetite, willingness to eat has decreased. Chewing movement can be seen with the salivation. So animal is trying to chew continuously and there is a lot of salivation. No, this can be a nervous sign. So nervous signs episodes occurs 1 to 2 hours for 1 to 2 hours and may recur after the 8 to 12 hours. So now animal is showing some nervous sign. 1 hour, 2 hour it is showing. Now it has stopped. After 12 hours, again this nervous sign may appear, right? So this is about ketosis. Cow may injure themselves during the nervous episode. So the cow is walking in the circle. She is walking aimless, doing aimless movement. Then there is a staggering, blindness is there. So the cow may fall and it may injure themselves, right? So these are the nervous signs. Clinical findings: the blood glucose level are reduced from 50 milligram per deciliter to 20 to 40 milligram per deciliter. Okay, so in case of animal, this 50 milligram milligram per deciliter blood glucose level is decreased to the 20 to 40 milligram blood glucose level per deciliter. Okay, so this is a quite low glucose level. So what happens is that if you see the normal cow, beta hydroxybutyrate, right, ketone bodies. This is one of the ketone body, stable ketone body, beta hydroxybutyrate, which we measure for the ketogenesis. This beta hydroxybutyrate plasma concentration is normally less than 1000 micromole per liter. But what happens if the cow has a clinical ketosis? In this, the beta hydroxybutyrate plasma concentration may increase greater than 2500 micromole per liter. Okay, so it may increase the more than double. Okay, so this beta hydroxybutyrate plasma concentration is higher. It means that cow has a clinical ketosis. There is a correlation coefficient for the blood and milk beta hydroxybutyrate about 0.66. So sometimes people they don't want to take PS their cow, or that is quite costly to measure beta hydroxybutyrate from the blood. So they resort to the milk beta hydroxybutyrate. So in that case, if you are measuring correlation, that is a 0.66. Plasma beta hydroxybutyrate BHBA is not a cost-effective convenient analysis for routine analysis, right? So people don't want to take sometimes the plasma, and this serum estimation sometimes can be a costly affair. So the milk and the urine ketone level has been traditionally detected by the reaction of acetoacetate and the acetone with sodium nitroprusside, which can be interpreted in the semi-quantitative manner based on intensity of the reaction. So we normally see under our biochemical test, we want to measure something, we are mixing it with something, and some color is developing. Based on that color intensity, we are saying, okay, this is the concentration of that particular metabolite. In our case, ketone body case, we want to detect the milk and the urine ketone bodies. In that case, this acetone and acetoacetate is reacting with the sodium nitroprusside, and it is giving the particular color which can be measured semi-quantitatively. So this is a sodium nitroprusside reaction we can perform to with the milk and the urine ketone bodies, right, as a measurement. So here is one of the charts. So there is a ketone body normal level. This is in ketosis. So acetoacetic acid can be normal level can be 0.1 milligram per deciliter. 100 ml means deciliter, and in ketosis it can be a 7 milligram per deciliter. Beta hydroxybutyrate from normal level 8 milligram per deciliter to 30 milligram per deciliter. It has increased. This has increased. Free fatty acid, it is a 9 milligram per deciliter. Now it has a free fatty acid is a lot of free fatty acid, 28 milligram per deciliter. So this has also increased. Okay, so it is a this is how we can detect the ketosis. Clinical finding: fat to protein ratio is greater than the 1.5. So fat to protein ratio is more. It means that numerator factor is higher. So this fat is higher in the concentration. That is fat to protein ratio is greater than 1.5 in the first day. Teat milk is indicative of the lack of energy supply in the feed and the risk of ketosis. So if you are taking the milk from the teat from the very first day after lactation, and this you are measuring fat to protein ratio, it is greater than 1.7. It means that there is a lack of energy supply in the food and there is a risk of ketosis. So this is also you can monitor the ketosis. The volatile fatty acid are much higher in the ketotic animal. So these volatile fatty acid are much higher in the ketotic animal. This fatty degeneration of the liver can be seen. So what are the treatments? So there is a treatment aspect. So we are considering treatment aspect here. Okay. So what is the treatment? Glucose is less. So what will be the our first choice? Let's address that problem. So we are giving the 500 ml of the 50% solution of the glucose or the dextrose. Okay. So we are giving the 50% solution of the glucose or dextrose intravenously 500 ml. Okay, so this 500 ml of the 50% solution of glucose or dextrose we are giving, but this may cause a relapse also because this treatment is not followed properly or particular duration, right? Other treatment option is that we are giving propylene glycol 200 to 700 grams daily we are giving, or the salt of propionic acid can be administered in the feed. Okay, propylene glycol or the propionic acid we are giving. Then we can feed the glycerol. We can give the sodium propionate 110 to 225 grams daily. Then this calcium lactate can be given 1 kilogram initially, followed by 0.5 kilogram per kilogram for 7 days. But we know that this lactate is not a very good alternative as a for gluconeogenesis. So this is rarely being followed. The sodium acetate we can give 110 to 500 gram per day. Then ammonium lactate we can give 200 gram for 5 days. Okay, so these are the different treatment options. We can give glucose, dextrose, we can give propylene glycol, we can give propionic acid, so that this gluconeogenesis will be triggered, and then we will have the proper glucose inside our animal. Or the purpose of the calcium lactate or ammonium lactate is the same. We want to stimulate the gluconeogenesis so that animal will have the proper glucose in its body. The next option is the hormonal therapy. So under hormonal therapy, a hyperglycemic state can be produced in a 4 to 6 day in the ketotic cow, given 10 milligram of the dexamethasone, 21 isonicotinate, and other preparations such as the dexamethasone sodium phosphate 40 milligram and the flumethasone 5 milligram. So animal is under ketosis, it has a low glucose. Now we want to stimulate the glucose. So what we can give? So corticosteroid we can give. So this dexamethasone 21 isonicotinate we can give, or dexamethasone sodium phosphate 40 milligram and the flumethasone we can give. What happens is that after 4 to 5 days, this ketotic animal they may develop the hyperglycemic state. So they will have the proper glucose in their body. So what this corticosteroid is there by stimulating other pathways. Somehow by gluconeogenesis they increase the glucose level in the blood, and animal have proper glucose level maintained inside the blood. Next, hormonal therapy can be protamine zinc insulin. So this protamine zinc insulin 200 to 300 international unit per animal can be administered subcutaneously every 24 to 48 hours. So 24 to 48 hours this protamine zinc insulin can be administered. Another therapy can be anabolic steroids like 60 milligram or 120 milligram of trinobolone acetate. So this trinobolone acetate, it is permitted to be used in some countries and it is not permitted to be used in other countries, right? So it depends on the regulation we have to use this trinobolone acetate. Vitamin B12 or cobalt. We saw the under the ketosis, ketosis can develop because of the nutritional deficiency. To address that, if the particular area is there, means the cobalt deficiency is there, animal is not getting vitamin B12 properly. In that case, you can give the vitamin B12 and the cobalt to the animal to have animal proper glucose. Then there is a other therapy, cysteamine, 750 milligram of IV for 3 days doses at 1 to 3 days interval can be given. Cysteamine can be given. Then this sodium fumarate can be given. Then this glucagon with a prolonged delivery due to the short apply. So this glucagon is also actually known to stimulate gluconeogenesis and increase the glucose level in the blood. So this, but the problem is that if you are trying glucagon, it has very short half life, and if you want to try it as a treatment, you should have the prolonged delivery system. So continuously it is relieving for the longer duration, then only its level can be maintained. Okay, so these are the treatment measures. Sometimes instead of intravenous glucose, people try to give the subcut, but the problem with the subcut is that it may develop the infection if you are giving subcut, and it may look ugly if a lot of swelling you can observe in that one, right? So even though it is a slow release, but it is not sometimes being used. Okay, so what is a control measure? You now the control. You don't want the animal to develop the ketosis, so what can be preventive? Sometimes propylene glycol 350 to 1000 ml daily for the 10 days can be given after the calving. So you are giving propylene glycol 350 to the 1000 ml up to 1 liter you are giving for the 10 days after the calving. Then you are giving glycerol 2 to 3 liter, but it may have sign like staggering depression diuresis this with the glycerol. Sometimes people are trying to use 1 liter of the glycerol, right? Propionic acid 110 gram per day daily for 6 weeks. We can give this propionic acid because this propionic acid is a good source of gluconeogenesis, but it is not palatable. So though this you are giving 110 gram propionic acid daily, but it is not palatable. So not palatable, so it is creating bad taste for the animal, and because of that it is not taking food properly. So decrease food intake. So again it may worsen the ketosis condition, or it may be acting as a predisposing cause, though we are using it for control, right? Then there are some ionophores like monensins. Monensins. So what ionophores do is that they decrease the gram-positive bacteria, fungi, and protozoa in the rumen, and they increase the gram-negative flora. So there is a increase in the propionate production. So if you are with the help of ionophore, if you are increasing this propionate production, then this propionate can act as a source of gluconeogenesis, and animals glucose level can be made. So under the ionophores, there is a monensis. We show slow release capsule to the cattle 2 to 4 weeks before calving. You can give it, right? So this ionophores can be tried. Then niacin 2 weeks prior to parturition and 12 weeks postpartum can be given, right? So basically these are the like control measures with the particular compounds, but the proper measure is that you have to monitor the food intake of the animals, right? The proper nutrition of the animal has to manage monitor properly, so that animal will not have the ketosis condition. Next we have herd monitoring. So herd monitoring we can do means we want to our herd is there, and we want to measure the blood glucose level. Now animals glucose level is falling below 35 milligram per deciliter or 1.9 millimole per liter. It suggests the subclinical ketosis. So animal ketone body this glucose level has decreased. So it has decreased to 35 milligram per deciliter. It may indication of the subclinical ketosis. Blood glucose estimation should be done about the 14 days after calving. So ideally after 14 days after calving, the blood glucose estimation can be done. But usually the testing ketone in the urine or milk first or the second week of the lactation can be done, and maybe routinely followed. Generally, the people resort to this testing of ketones in the urine and milk because it's easier to do. You don't have to pick animal, you don't have to handle it much way to cause the pain to animal, and easy to do, quite cost effective. So this can be done. The ketone bodies estimation in urine and milk can be done to monitor the ketosis in the heart. So these ketone bodies can be monitored with the urine testing. So coming to this point, so urine testing, you have under our laboratory we have this urine analyzer. So this can be used, and for this glucose estimation we have fully automated biochemical analyzer. So this can be used for the glucose estimation. Even the semi-automatic analyzer or the UV visible spectrometer can be used for the glucose estimation. So thank you. So this is it about this ketosis in the animal, right? Okay. So we stop here.